Hello, class and Professor Myers. This is my book review on The Voice Catchers by Joseph Turo? No, Turo. That's how you say it. First of all, the first thing I'd like to say is that this is the first book I've read in a very long time. So I'm actually very proud of myself for get, getting to the end of it because reading a book after not reading a book for a long time is actually quite a challenge. Maybe that's just for me, but I'm sure that I'm not the only one in the class feeling that. So I thought that I would make that be known. Hope someone can relate to that. So let me pull up my notes here. Um, the Okay, surprising things. Here we go. The first, I picked five because I couldn't narrow it down to three, and none of them are in any particular order, but I've selected five things that shocked me while I was reading. The first of which are that voice assistants can detect your emotions and health conditions, which is said in chapter 2. I don't know how they know about the health conditions and emotions. Obviously everyone talks about how, you're talking about something and then you see an ad for it and you're like, oh, they're listening. But you don't really think about how they know your health conditions or emotions. The only instance I've had that I've experienced that was when I tore my ACL last year, but I would probably talk about my ACL like 3 or 4 times a day. So obviously they're gonna advertise to me, but the fact that they can detect your emotions really freaked me out. Number two on my list is that your voice becomes a marketing profile. I'm not exactly sure how that works. Like if I have the a voice that sounds the same as someone else, kind of curious how they're able to decipher those, but besides like IP address and stuff, but really freaky and scary. Um, Number three is that that last one was from chapter 5. In chapter 4, they were talking about how they tailored the term voice tech to make it sound harmless, and I think that's really interesting. Uh, it kind of like actually this whole book, but specifically that voice tech section really kind of shows the evil seeming side of marketing. Like, obviously we talk about ethics and everything in school, but there's a little part of my mind as we learn about marketing theory that's like, oh, we're just learning to manipulate people. And this book definitely affirms that, especially the voice tech little section there. And that happened in chapter 4. My fourth shocking moment from the book was in chapter 6 when they were talking about how voice analysis is already being used in hiring and insurance. I hope that I can still get a job with my voice. I don't think that my voice will really affect my job because I am studying film, so hopefully I'll be behind a camera or an editing thing, and it would really freak me out if they distinguished my capability for a filming or editing job based on my voice. Um, but yeah, that stuck out to me in a negative way. I was very scared. Actually, pretty much all of these things. This book really just scared the crap out of me. And then my last shocking moment was that smart speakers were launched with no clear privacy regulations. That's in the first chapter. And I mean, it makes sense because, like, nobody really knows what you're going to do with the information you collect. So the fact that you're collecting information could seem harmless if you're not saying anything about it. But obviously, like the rest of those moments, terrifying. And overall, the book, as I was reading it, just kind of made me feel evil for studying marketing, to be honest. And I don't know, like, kind of villainized a lot of industries and technology firms who create these products, like, I don't know, firms that make said smart speakers and everything. Um, but it's also kind of just a wake up call on the front of business ethics. As business students, we have the opportunity to get into the worst workforce and flip the narrative that, I mean, after I read this book, I was left just feeling like, oh, these corporations are evil, like I just said. But luckily, as business students, we have the opportunity to get into the workforce and flip the narrative and be able to hopefully change that. Obviously, data collection is important, but I feel as if the tactics that were discussed in this book really freaked me out. The book kind of tried a little bit to make it less scary, but I don't think that worked, at least for me. I was kind of freaked out reading this whole thing. And especially, like I said, as someone who has not read a book in a very long time, I was very disturbed by it. But, anyways, moving on to the next point of the uh, prompt on Canvas, we have how this data collection could improve or impact our favorite brand. I decided to choose Altera, the company that does the Icon Pass, and I see them using my voice thing a lot because, I'll be like talking to my friends about, oh, I want to go to Copper this weekend, and then get an ad for the new lodge they just put at the top of the Eagle Lift and things like that. But additionally, it could help them out in a lot of different ways. First of all, they could personalize the guest experience using the voice capture. I'm not sure that I think that they should use the voice capture. I would not like if my Icon Pass was listening to me, but I do think that they could make a super personalized experience, especially for a traveler who's getting a temporary pass as opposed to someone with a season pass, probably knows what they like, knows what they're doing. But for someone doing rentals and things like that, they could hear what the people are saying and maybe tailor the experience a little more specifically. They could also sell the data that they record at their resorts to companies selling ski products. Like, take Armada for instance, they sell outerwear, they sell skis, they sell boots, they sell bindings, and it would be very useful for them to have data collected by Altera um, that they could use in their marketing tactics. And yeah, I also think in the lodges and everything, it could help with figuring out what should stay on and leave a menu. Um, how could the brand you picked from the partner with potential customers? Yeah, well, I mean, that third bullet from my notes was kind of answered by the last one, but potential customers could be picked out, like someone saying, oh, I want to learn skiing, their phone hears it. I'm sure that already happens, but definitely could happen more. I don't know. Basically, my whole takeaway from this book is that it terrified me of the marketing industry in general and of all the corporations which they discussed in the book. And this book made me want to throw every device I own out of a window and go live in the woods, because I don't want Jeff Bezos listening to me every day. And he does. And I know that he does. And I don't like it. That was my book review. Thank you for listening.